What it is, my 10 Piece and Grease here, and yeah, doing an update video for the one that I published yesterday called Kitgun Ripoff. And you may be wondering why. Well, because I feel like a gigantic asshole. But seriously though, I do, but okay. So you will remember that in the last video, the father character was charging 25 grandmother tokens to gild a kit gun. Well, we know the grandmother tokens, are 1,500 standing each. So that plus this 5,000 standing on top of it, he was asking 42,500 standing. Now the irony in this is that I could take the very same kit gun he was asking over 42k for, down to Fortuna, and for 7 times cheaper, gild it for 7,000 credits. Now thankfully that has been fixed, because now the father character is asking for 25 father tokens. That's a stark contrast. Father tokens are only worth 100 standing each, so that's 2,500 standing plus the 5,000 initial. That's only 7,500 standing. So that's comparable with Fortuna. You're looking at 7,000 for Fortuna, 7,500 for Deimos, and you may be thinking on the surface, oh, well, it's still 500 more standing more expensive. That's true, but it's not going to really make or break anything. Plus, you need to factor in exactly the amount of time that's going to be required to pick up either debt bonds or father tokens. And in my opinion, father tokens are far easier to acquire, because as you wander around the Deimos open world, it can be Drift, you're going to just find all of these random resources, and you give him a little bit, and he gives you father tokens. It's just that simple. But with debt bonds, unfortunately, you only have 2 options, as I mentioned yesterday. And that is you have to run bounties. And if you don't want to run bounties because they're not very enjoyable and they're not very rewarding, then the only other option you have is to buy them from Ticker. The problem is, as I said at the very beginning of the launch of Fortuna, Ticker is very expensive. In fact, he's overpriced. And while it does seem like the cost has come down some on Ticker, I still think that he's still a little overpriced. So if you don't have a pile of credits laying around to buy all these different debt bonds, you have no other choice but to run bounties. Not that the bounties are hard, it's just that they're not very fun to do. So that's really kind of the big difference between them. So the question comes down to, is that 500 additional standing worth the ease of acquiring father tokens versus debt bonds? It's going to be for you to decide. The good news here ultimately is that you've got choices. You can do either one. Now, the kit gun loaders still have the scintillant requirement, but if I'm honest, I didn't really expect that to change. That's something that we pretty much get with every location, is some type of a special resource, air quote special, and then that special resource is used over and over and over and over and over again in every new Warframe, every new weapon, and on and on. Does it get tiring? Does it get old? Sure, it does, absolutely. Unfortunately, it is what it is, right? So let me say this, that I came in a little hot in yesterday's vid. I should have pumped the brakes a little bit, and I didn't. And if it's any consolation, DE, I feel like a gigantic asshole, as I said already. But at the same time, understand where this is coming from. My aggravation is coming from a place of caring about this game. If I didn't care about this game, I wouldn't talk about it. I wouldn't make any vids. I play a lot of games, and there's a bunch of busted ass games I could make a lot of videos about, but it's not worth my time. In fact, it's a waste of time because they're just too far gone, and I don't care about them. Warframe is different. I've invested over 6.5 years in this game. I want it to go like just absolute gangbusters. I want it to be insanely successful. That's what I hope for the game. That's what I hope for the DE and everybody at DE. But yeah, again, that's where it was coming from. It wasn't coming from a place of hostility or aggression or any other kind of stuff. It was just plain old, genuine aggravation because you care about a game and you want to see it do well. And so hopefully DE can right this ship and get it going again. At least that's what I'm holding out hope for. But with all that said, what do you guys and gals think? Put it down in the comments section. I respond to everybody that does. And until next time, peace out.